And welcome to the Unmitigated Truth. I'm your host, Gregory Meriweather. Man, it's good to be back. Man, it's another week 2. Just excited about everything that's going on. I mean, y'all know we stay busy. The community doing community things. It's been a decent week. I hope everybody's had a great weekend. I know that this is the week of Thanksgiving, so I'm not one to really celebrate Thanksgiving, but nonetheless, just excited about, just having a week to kind of reflect and chill. For those of you who are traveling, I pray for you to have traveling mercies. And then just enjoy family. It ain't a matter of having to celebrate the day of, Thanksgiving, because we know there's a different kind of vibe behind Thanksgiving. But nonetheless, have a great week. I just want people to enjoy family and community. And then, just shout out to people who are out in the community trying to brighten someone's day by, trying to make sure people get to eat on that day. Y'all know I'm not one who is always a big advocate of the whole turkey giveaways and all that kind of stuff, because I'm a 24/7. I'm like, people need help every single day. And I know that, it's not necessarily possible to help people every single day. But I just, wish we didn't make it so big. I wish we didn't make it to where we have to believe we have to share it, there is a thing that says in our life, when you give, do not allow your left hand to know what your right hand is doing when giving. But everybody, I guess if they did not share it, people wouldn't know. I'll leave that at that. So anyway, man, make sure you follow the Unmitigated Truth on our YouTube channel. You can see it down here, the Unmitigated Truth on Facebook. The Unmitigated Truth on X. And then if you want to help this show grow, and this is what I mean by grow. Right now, I'm just, utilizing software. Back in the day when I was running the Black on Black network, just had the downtown offices, the studio, and all that kind of stuff with a lot of overhead. Just decided not to go that route. It's truly not affordable, but nonetheless, but that's the goal. The goal is to make this into something very, very big, something that, we can really be proud of. And just put on for not just the city of Indianapolis, but for the Black community at large and for people, because I think that we need we need more avenues of truth. Typically we look and we try to follow the media, but when you realize what goes into the media and you realize it's the advertisers, all that kind of stuff, it's hard for you to get some really, really good news if you don't get it from sources like this on the internet, man. So don't be afraid of the internet. I mean, there are some good sources out here. Shout out to Black Indie Live, which is a great source. They're doing great work, and that's my guy. So shout out to them. Nonetheless, man, we're gonna take a little time today. I typically try to make this show anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour. I don't want to hold you long. In the words of a good Baptist preacher, I ain't trying to keep you long, but we're gonna let God do what God does. And so, man, let's get it started with our first story. It's crazy. I don't know if y'all know, y'all might know, but I want to find out if Brother Mike Epps, is he on like a any kind of promo tour or something? Because it seems as if he's on a promo tour. I don't know, but I know he's been in the media a lot. I've seen a lot of stuff with Mike, and this is our first story with Mike talking about some stuff, and I want to come back and we're gonna talk about what our dear brother Mike Epps was talking about when he was on the show with Jim Jones. So let's watch this.
I'm killing. Nigga, you're dead. That's real shit. I'm talking about black trauma for black men. All these niggas is gangsters running around talking this street shit. Straight trauma, nigga.
Went through a lot.
Been through hell, nigga.
100%.
You get them niggas will cry, be on the side of the building crying they heart out. because and that's what they do for our youth. We have to start targeting and gearing, um, celebrating those journeys. Those are the wrong journeys to celebrate, young men. There's no reward for coming home after 30 years. You don't get no fucking care package, nigga. You are a failure. Get your ass out here and help these kids, nigga. Pay that back forward. You see what I'm saying? That's the reward. I got niggas all the time come straight home. If I don't do what they want me to do for them, I'm a sellout. I'm a sucker-ass nigga.
Right?
I done did the whole bit with them. I done been to Walmart 100 times, Jay paying and meeting guards, doing all kind of shit I ain't supposed to be doing, fucking with you, nigga. But
as soon as you say no one time,
they done forgot about the other 99 times you said yes.
So when I look at that, man, that's one, that's a deep conversation, as one who has had brothers or not my brother, but what I call my brothers who have been incarcerated. And, I've had to deal with the JPays and all that kind of stuff, visits. I ain't never been one who visited a lot. But when I look at that, I definitely get where he's coming from. Here's the question, which has become a very, very big question online, is what's the celebration? Should we celebrate people coming home from the joint, or should we not? Is that the wrong message? Here's my take on it. I think that, one, when we realize the recidivism, and what I mean by that, the recidivism is people returning to prison once they've done their time. Recidivism in our community, or just in general for black men, it's like 70-some%. It's like well after maybe a year or so out, 75% are going back. And yes, there are, don't get it twisted. There are systemic things that are, that play a role into brothers going back to prison. And but here's a question. It's like, how many times do you celebrate? When I look at it, it's like, all right, I know a lot of cats who came home. We celebrated them. We treated them like royalty. And, I look over, and he go right back. We come back, we celebrate them, same ordeal over and over and over. And it's like, should we keep doing that? I don't know. People were like, some people were like, you have loved ones who want to, just happy that you're free. And I definitely get that. But is it the right message? I don't know. Here's the challenge. The challenge is when we don't do it as a form of prevention. Hear me out. What does that mean, Greg Meriweather? When we don't recognize great things that Black men do while they're out, while they're not committing crime, while they're not on the verge of going to prison, are we saying, great job, keep going? I know it's tough. Stay in the fight. Do what you got to do on this, and stay straight, stay clean. Don't mess yourself up. Have we ever been one to help? Think about this. We will spend money on the guy coming home from prison, but won't spend money to keep a guy out of prison. Think on that. Most people in my family have seen me do a lot of great things. Most of them have not pitched in. When I went to college, most of them did not pitch in. When I was playing basketball, most of them did not pitch in. Most of them did not show up. When I was playing football, most of them did not pitch in. Most of them did not show up. But at the same time, we look and there are people who are recognized for doing far worse. Just think on just what we do in the community. More people will show up for you to be in court than on a court. More people will visit you in prison than would visit you at home. This is us. And I kind of get where our brother is coming from. It's like we got to do more preventative love than we do this thing on the back end of saying, you know what, I love you. So therefore, I'm going to now recognize you after you've done 5 years. I love you now. Love me enough to encourage me while I'm out. We give up on so many people while they're trying, while they're striving. I'm like, it's crazy. I realize I'm like the last person people want to invest in. But I've always said this. Black people always start from the bottom. You know, I get my mom, she'll get mad at me because I always talk about my grandfather and how he always invested in the other ones. But he never was one to invest in me. And so when you look and all of a sudden it's like we need to start looking and saying, who's the closest person to what is deemed world success? Who is the person, if we put in on them and then they start doing great things and they put back in and then they take the next closest one and they build them up. And then those two take the next closest one and they build them up. And then we got this group of people who are operating at a higher level, who have a higher income. Because then that's when you start doing your family foundations, your family businesses. You got people who are able to hire people who are responsible, people who can build all kinds of stuff, just kind of crazy things that we don't even think about. We don't think about take the people who are closest to whatever is deemed success, financial success, educational success. You take those people and you help them get there as opposed to reaching to the bottom. The dude that's about to do the drive-by in our family is usually the one we give the car, not the one who's about to go to school. You don't need no car. You be all right. How can you hear that? And I'm sure it's plenty of people who will be deemed on the verge who can watch this podcast right now, and they know that people will be like, man, you be all right. You straight. And you look like, man, I need help too. And so it's that. And so I would just say, man, shout out to Mike Epps, man. I don't know what's going on, honestly, but I just hope that he stays on the path. But let's rewind the tape. Today, Mike has come out and he has tried to clear up some stuff because there's been backlash on it. There's been backlash on this, so I want to play this because Mike has come out. There's been some backlash. And he's had some things to say. So let's see what our brother has to say, because he definitely did come out today with some things to say. So let's listen up.
What's up, y'all? It's your man Mike Epps, man. I just want to get on here and clarify and clear a few things up. Number one, about the brothers coming home from prison being celebrated. I've always been a part of reform. I got brothers right now from my hometown that I'm trying to help come home that have been in prison forever. I think you guys might have misunderstood what I was saying. I might have said it the wrong way, but what I was trying to say is we don't want to send kids mixed messages about coming home from prison, being celebrated, feeling like you got to go to prison to do 30, 40 years to be celebrated. I think you guys misunderstood that. Misunderstood what I said. Wasn't saying that it was wrong to be celebrated, but we don't want to send a message to the kids saying prison is great, that you want to go home, go do 30 years and come home. I don't think that's cool. So I'm sorry if anybody took it the wrong way and got offended. I love my brothers. I've been incarcerated myself. I understand what that is, but I might have said it the wrong way, but I mean well. And I love you, brothers. Free my brothers that's coming home. My man Derek, free all the guys that's coming home, man. And about the food stamp thing. The food stamp thing was misunderstood too. What I was saying is that we need to break the cycle of being on food stamps. There's 3 generations of people that have been on food stamps. Of grandmother, mother, and daughter, that's crazy. We gotta do better. We can't think that we need assistance. I know there's some people out there that need assistance. That's well, fine, and understood. But there's people out there taking advantage of the system that's not good. So just want to apologize if I offended anybody. I love y'all, man, and keep on doing the right thing. Peace.
So, uh, so he got into the weeds, but I kind of, get the gist of what he's saying, that, us celebrating it, because honestly, prison has become like going to college. I've seen a lot of people talk that talk, I did this amount of time, and, it's crazy because it's become a sort of like there's a badge of honor for going to prison. And, and honestly, and this is no knock to any groups, any social groups, organizations, but there is something to be said when people are more, they feel more proud about being part of something. Self-actualization, being part of something means a lot to a lot of people. I wish we had that thing about being Black. I wish we had that. I wish we were people who said, I feel good about being Black, so therefore I carry that. I'm part of this. I'm part of the culture. But you've got gangs. One, people wear that. We got frats and sororities. People wear that. You've got your church folk. People wear that. You've got your educated folk. People wear that. And then you got the fraternity of prison. People wear that. But it's all separated. We not come together and say, man, I'm celebrating being a Black person and I'm proud to be part of the culture. It's like we are the most fragmented people simply because we find everything to be part of that kind of disassociates us from just being Black. You ain't got to like it. It's just what I feel. It's just what I feel. And, I think I wish there was a bigger drive on that. And as far as the food stamp thing, shout out to my brother Wildstyle. He and I kind of went back and forth on this for a second, but just the whole misappropriation and food stamps. One, we realized that through this, I've always known this, but we realized that Black people are not the number one customer or recipient of SNAP benefits. It's actually Caucasian people. And then let's look at the systemic things again with SNAP benefits, all the things that, the governmental benefits. And we got to understand, man, that it's crazy when you are oppressed, marginalized, last to be hired, first to be fired, not just unemployed, but also underemployed, where you work 40 hours and you don't make a lot of money. And, we have to look at everything holistically before we say certain things, because I do think that if you can better yourself, if there are people who can better themselves, I believe they want to. But I also know that there are systems in place for people who try to better themselves, and they are literally, when we look at it, you can't say 50% of Black men in New York don't want to work, but you can say 50% are unemployed, or 40-some% of Black men in Chicago about the age of this to that are unemployed, and just be like they don't want to work. That's not the truth. That's not the truth. And when we think about these benefits, it's like, I'm sure there are a lot of people who are wanting better, who have tried and may not be able to get that because of the things that are in play. But anything that is abused, I agree with you 100%. Anything that is misused, abused, or taken advantage of, and that's holistically. That's not just for Black people. That's holistically. If you're abusing the system, then I think that that's not a cool thing. Just my take. So moving on to the next topic. We rolling, y'all. We rolling really good. All right, so we about to talk about this apology that came by way of the Chicago student. And I don't know, y'all tell me, man. And let me tell you something. A lot of these videos are shared to me, so therefore I share them so you see the people who shared them. Shout out to all you people who send me stuff. If I send it, if I see it, I'm going to share it probably as is, simply because that's how I get it. So let's look at this video, and I want y'all, let's think about this apology, and let's see what y'all got to say about it. I found it interesting.
She is one of the children that was a part of the fight at OT Bright School on yesterday. We're just coming live so she can say her piece and take accountability. I won't say too much. And please, anyone that decides to say anything, keep it respectful. This is the child.
Hey, my name is Kamira Grant, and I was wrong for everything.
It's okay,
I was wrong for everything that I did, and I was just being a follower, following everybody who don't even got nothing that I got. And I apologize for everything because I wouldn't want to be in that situation. And I feel bad because
It's okay.
I gotta go through so much. Like, I wish I would never did what I did.
So in hindsight, we're looking at a young lady who says she wished that she had not done what she did. A lot of people on that were saying that she was only apologizing because she was caught. A lot of people didn't believe it was sincere. I listened to the young ladies who spoke before her. You know, typically, it used to be a time when we used to hear it's the child. It wasn't. You never heard that oh, this is a child if they put hands on an adult. You never heard, oh, this is a child if they spoke, out of tone with an adult or said inappropriate things with adults. We never heard that this is a child, so you excuse it. We got dealt with. And when I look now, it's like the excuse of getting out of pocket because you're a child is totally out of place for me, because I'm saying that there has to be a level of responsibility when you're a child to train you to know that this is how you deal with adults. I have seen multiple people look and let their kids run amok, and people call, my children are 20, 28, I want to say 28, 29, and 20, 28 or 29. She's 28 or 29. And then my son is 22. And my children still, if you, I'm like this. Now, what their mamas do is another thing. My children I don't like them calling adults by their names. I'm like, it's Mr., Mrs., Miss, Ms. something. There's a handle. And, I've seen people who don't uphold to that, because I'm like, James Brown, it's funny, James Brown, the story about James Brown, the actual James Brown is, if you ever watched Get On Up with Chadwick Boseman, James Brown referred to everybody as Mr. somebody. And the reason he said it, the reason he did it is because he wanted the reciprocity. He wanted everybody to call him Mr. Brown. So he called everybody Mr. Such and such. But I think that, and then there's another thing that I participate in it's Project Mr. And they do the same thing. When the Misters go around, everybody introduces themselves as Mr. And I think that we have to be trained in a way to hold reverence to adults. That's why I look and see so many younger men who have no respect for me being the age that I am, simply because no one's trained them to look at this as, hey man, that's good. We hold that in high regard. We got mad love for Mr. Meriweather. You know, he's been through some things. He's a survivor. He's a black man that we can look to and say, man, he's survived 52 years. You know, and knock on wood, man, it's like surviving 52 years and not being in prison or not going through certain things. It's like, man, you got to understand that comes with something. And so when I look and realize that there are kids jumping on adults, I'm like, no, I'm not going to give you a pass for being a child. Not when you jumped in it. Once you put your hands on an adult, you've went to the land of adults, and you're going to get dealt with like an adult. And I ain't saying she need to go to prison, but I am saying that she need to get dealt with. That's just who I am, because I think that it's a world where discipline needs to be instilled, and I don't think that there's enough discipline for our children to find a level of success that they need, which takes me to this other point. So let's look at this, because this is probably what really pissed me off. So this is Yaz St. Patrick. And this is, I guess, one of the mothers. Okay? And I put over here, the apology can't be real if this is the mama. And then I put Matthew 7:17. I said, likewise, every good tree bears good fruit, but a bad tree bears bad fruit. Okay, let's read this. She says, let me say this first. My daughter is a great ASS kid. She's a AB student, captain of the cheerleading team, ahead of her class, and some more ish. All good things from every teacher. If you know, you know. We don't owe, all caps, nobody an apology. But that lady and her kids. So all y'all grown MFs looking for a viral moment, please shut the F up, because kids gonna be kids. And it's kids out here that did way worse ish. Let alone y'all ASs or ASS, when y'all was 12 and 13 years old, y'all's ASS used to be out here beating up crackheads and all. Y'all don't know us at all. She was peer pressured. If you know my family, you know if we find a friend in an MF, and we gonna stand behind them 100%, no matter what. But this, no matter what, I don't know, this is definitely a lesson learned. She was held accountable for her actions. Y'all, TB, it takes a village, BITCH. She got a castle. And everybody standing 10 toes behind her. I was never gonna go live making y'all MFs feel no type of way. Once again, in all caps, well, once again, we, then in all caps, do not owe y'all no apology. F y'all MFs, know what's going on in real life, and know my kid's not raised like that at all. Feel how y'all want. F y'all. Okay, so apple don't fall too far from the tree. I can't have high expectation if that's my mom. I can't have high expectation if when I read that I don't have high expectation. That's just me. There have been people who have come from worse, but for me, I'm like, well, you just gonna have to show me something, because that right there is different. And when I realized that, if that is truly a mother and she posted this, I am like, what is going on with that mother? Because I would be embarrassed for one, but here's the other thing that we don't realize is, the schools have these kids, and if you are lucky, And I have been very, very lucky to have some great teachers. And I've also been lucky to have great Black teachers. And a lot of stuff I learned, like etiquette and, and how to eat soup. I didn't realize you push soup away. You push it away from you. I didn't know that. I wasn't one who knew that you don't chop up a steak, like kibbles and bits. You eat it by the slice. These are things now that don't get it twisted. I learned these things as a child. And because I was given the opportunity to be in a certain school and being around certain things, I was introduced to stuff that most of the people in my neighborhood were not introduced to, simply because that's not where they went to school. My grades allowed me, my testing scores allowed me to be put in a different school, which allowed me to learn some different stuff. And so when I look at this, I'm like, that girl, if she is an AB student, if she is the cheerleading captain, if she is a good student, let me tell y'all something. And this is me saying this in her defense. I can see that. I can truly see that. Because here's what I learned as the kid that I just said. Being in the neighborhood and being that kid ain't easy, if that's who she is. Because a lot of y'all will pick on that. A lot of people pick on those kids. I know the feeling. Here's the other thing. So if she was peer pressure, know this, because some of y'all know that y'all did the same thing to kids who were excelling. Y'all know that y'all didn't treat them right. Y'all know that y'all did certain things. Y'all said certain things. And at that point, it is possible for this young lady to get off her square in attempts to fit in, simply because we are people who pick on people who strive for excellence. I ain't saying it's her, but I'm saying if it is, I would rock with it. I would believe it. I would stand with it 10 toes down, because I know for a fact that we don't. Man, it's crazy what this show is turning into, because when Mike Epps is like who we celebrate, man, listen, we will beat up the nerd. We would talk about the nerd. And the crazy thing is this: the same people that did not like seeing people excel or be brilliant are the same adults who talk about adults who are brilliant, who are trying to excel, and they don't like them. And the only reason they don't like them is because they're trying to do something with their lives. And there are tons and tons of children who are ending up in prison, ending up dying early, ending up in trouble, simply because they are attempting to fit in so that they don't get bullied. And going back to Brother Mike Epps, he talked about Tupac Shakur, and he said, Jim Jones said, man, I used to listen to Pac and go up to get in a fight, go upstairs, listen to Pac, come back downstairs and start fighting again. And Mike Epps said, yeah, the Negro put a battery in my back too. And he said, but I had a chance to work with his mother. And his mother said, my son was not a street dude. And the crazy thing about it is the comments that I saw is everybody wants to deny that. Everybody holds him in high regard for being what killed him, as opposed to saying, I wish he was not that. I wish he would have just remained the actor, the guy who did ballet, the guy who loved Shakespeare, the guy who loved poetry, not the thug. And I would be willing to bet on anything that guy, the guy that we saw in the video, the guy that the soft-spoken guy, the guy that said the girls didn't like him and all that kind of stuff, I guarantee you that guy was getting bullied and turned into the bully simply because that's what he knew. And it's something to be said. It says, it's always been said, it's like you will turn and you can you can turn into the thing that you least like. And it happens. And so when I look at that young lady, I'm not giving her a pass. I'm not giving her an excuse. If she did wrong, she's wrong and out of pocket. And I still want an adult to take responsibility for that training, if that's the case. But also, if what her mother said about her is true, me, from experience, can understand how that girl got off track and ended up saying that she was peer pressured and mistreated and got herself into something simply because she was trying to fit in. I believe it wholeheartedly. If that's the truth, then yes, I would be one who believes it. I would absolutely be one who believes it, because it happens every single day. Good kids turn bad to fit in. Check me on the record. But that's real. Which leads to our next story, man. So I saw something about Sheila Sherfless McCormick. She's a representative, and she's a representative of Washington, D.C., and she's got some stuff going on. So we're gonna look at her and we're gonna talk about this as well, because we be doing some stuff, and I don't know if I ain't saying the sister's guilty, but we're gonna talk about it. Let's watch.
The Department of Justice has secured an indictment for a Florida congresswoman accused of stealing millions of dollars in federal emergency funds. She then reportedly used some of that money for her campaign. Let's bring in CBS News Justice correspondent Scott McFarland. All right, Scott, tell us, who is the congresswoman? Tell us about the indictment and what the DOJ says happened.
Hey, Vlad. Sheila Sherfless McCormick is a 5-year congresswoman from southern Florida. Came in just after COVID ended into her district in southern Florida. According to a Department of Justice indictment, she is being charged with any number of counts of fraud and misconduct for somehow taking federal relief money that was obtained by her business and using straw donors and another scheme to funnel it into her congressional campaign, along with a number of co-defendants. That's according to a press release issued by the Department of Justice. We don't have the charging documents in this case. They are not posted at the courthouse in Miami. It is often the case that when you have an announced case by the Department of Justice in a press release, you have the corresponding records to go through and see the granular nature of the accusations and the scheme alleged by prosecutors here. So we don't have that second piece of the puzzle. What we have is the announcement about the looming charges, if not the pending charges, against Congresswoman McCormick. In a statement, her chief of staff has said she is innocent. They look forward to their day in court to fight this case, but she is a sitting U.S. Congresswoman, not a former U.S. Congresswoman. So there's always the possibility, Vlad, there are some political implications to this that impact the current representation in Florida.
Scott McFarland reporting for us from Washington this morning. Scott, thank you.
So when I look at this, there was a lot of stuff said about with home health care as related to her and her business. I don't know if this is a Republican-driven thing, but I'm going to say this. We have to realize that we don't get to do what they do. And with the temperature of Washington, D.C. being the way it is, we have to dot our I's and cross our T's. Not saying in a criminal way. I'm saying that we must be cognizant that we are under attack. And I'm not saying we as Democrats. I'm saying we as Black people. It's like when we start saying they get to do it, you're not sitting in the court. And the other thing is this, which y'all don't know because y'all don't think, one, we ain't going to jury duty. Two, we ain't getting selected as jurors. Y'all know why we don't get selected as jurors? You don't get selected as jurors if you're not registered to vote. Okay? So it's twofold. So it's like we can't even stop Black people. This one of the simple things we could do to stop Black people from going to prison is being registered to vote, and then two, showing up for court. But when I look at this, I'm like, we get targeted. And I hope the sisters did not steal $5 million. I've seen worse, and I've seen people do some crazy stuff, and I'm just like, we we definitely got to do better in that regard because it's people will come after you. So I'm gonna keep my eye on that story and see what happened with that, and you know we'll keep that, you know, keep our sister in prayer. Hopefully, it's not as bad as it looks. I'll leave it at that. And my final one for today, man, this is something that it was sent to me, and I'm gonna get through it really quickly. But I'm gonna say what I gotta say, but I don't like it. I don't like it, but I'm gonna get through it because we gotta do better. So let's look at this. Did it move? I think it moved. Here we go. So this child, let's get rid of all this. Let's look at this. So, okay. As a young man who grew up in the church, let me tell y'all this. One thing I did not, it couldn't have been my daughter. And when I look at that, all I see is a young lady who is going to immediately leave the church as soon as she's able to. And I think that, you know, when we realize that it just doesn't seem like there was anyone there protecting her. And I'll say this, man, and this ain't got nothing to do with me, but I will say this, just from people who have had experiences that were not mine. Everybody ain't got a good mama. Everybody ain't got a good parent. There have been parents who've done things to their kids. There have been parents who've molested their kids, killed their kids. There have been parents who've done a lot of things, abandoned their kids. There have been a lot of things. And for adults to sit there and not realize, you know, hey, this might be something that we might not want to have on camera. This might not be something that we want to exploit. We may be beating up on somebody that's already beaten down. At some point, it's like, what is enough? And if you're looking for something, why don't you just say it? Or why don't you just teach her? Why don't you just say, hey, we really gonna work on you recognizing if and what you should be thankful for. That's what church is. When I hold God into a certain level of reverence and I look and I say, man, I didn't realize, man, that, you know, the power of God, even as an adult, having to better train myself to say, you know what, I got bills, but I'm thankful that I can pay them. I'm thankful that I have them. Hey, you know, when your car breaks down, I'm thankful that I'm able to be able to pay for it. I'm thankful that I have it. You may not like your job, but thankful that you have it because it provides so many other things. So you're thankful for it. But it's like that's even hard training for an adult. And I just want, you know, when I look at this episode and I'm just thinking about the kids and I'm thinking about personalities and I'm thinking about how we're built, thinking about how we're developed, I'm thinking about the stuff we go through, thinking about how we're challenged. And in all of this, I'm saying there needs to be far more love. And love, trust me, there is correction in true love. And then we can't misplace it either. So when I say that, I'm talking about even the celebration thing. We got to do a better job at looking at this thing and looking at our people. And we got to embrace some stuff. We got to break some stuff. We got to start looking at this thing and saying, man, do we got some stuff out of pocket? And the answer is absolutely yes. And like Brother Mike Epps said, man, we got to give a different message to our children. And man, I'm telling you, I wouldn't send my kid to nobody's church for them to get beat up on. It's not going to happen. I ain't sending my kid nowhere to get beat up on. I ain't even going nowhere as a 52-year-old man to get beat up on. What's the point? You give somebody a mic and then you're not satisfied with what they're saying. When you teaching the person, you know, what are you teaching? There's no satisfaction. I'll be like, well, tell me what you want me to say. And at that point, we'll figure it out. That's all I got on that. So anyway, man, this has been it. But I'm going to say this in closing. I want you guys to, one, man, as an adult, be thankful. Two, I want us to be cognizant of what we celebrate. If there's anything that I got from this, I was like, yeah, be cognizant of what we celebrate. But also, man, there are a lot of pressures. Kids face peer pressure. Adults face peer pressure. We have to be able to recognize that too. And then in the last video, we also have to be able to recognize when someone who's had enough and be able to build them from a different perspective. Our way ain't always the best way, but we can definitely help some people by finding out, you know, what's going on with them, but also how to help them, but also how to, you know, train them in order for them to, you know, be the best them. And so, man, I'm just, you know, I'm thankful for being able to utilize my voice in this way. And sharing this podcast, you know, when it's all said and done, it's not nothing special. It's just me sharing my perspective. It's me sharing how I see things. You know, I had a text frenzy today about what people think. And I'm learning that at 52, I'm learning that I don't care what people think at this stage. I used to care about what people thought about me. And at this point, I'm like, man, when I realize what I'm doing and what I'm trying to do, the type of man that I am, I've realized that, you know what, if people don't like it, then so be it. I'm okay being this man. And I'm happy about it. And I think that you should be happy if you know that what you do is good and great and helpful. It's respectful. It's not harmful. Then you should be one who is proud of who you are. And if people don't like it, then so be it. Let them not like it. Give them more of it. Make them hate you. If me becoming the greatest me from your hate is the thing that I get, then I am so thankful. So keep hating me all the way to my greatness. I'm wishing the same for y'all too. So this has been y'all's brother. This has been The Unmitigated Truth. Follow us on Facebook, on YouTube, subscribe on YouTube, follow us on X. And also, if you want to help support the vision of The Unmitigated Truth, Mary Mind Creations is the parent company of The Unmitigated Truth. Just cash app us. And man, we are grateful for anything that you all can do to help. This has been y'all's brother, Greg Meriweather. Y'all have a pleasant week. Enjoy your family. Be safe. We'll see you next week. Peace.